It's been 15 long years since Sid Meier has given us the opportunity to conquer the cosmos with Alpha Centauri. Galaxies far, far away and alien life have been unmolested by man for far too long, and by popular demand, civilization beyond Earth has reached store shelves in Steam. Putting down pikes for laser cannons and researching alien technology instead of animal husbandry is certain a welcome change of pace, but is Beyond Earth a proper full release, or will fans be waiting for a few expansion packs before this voyage among the stars reaches its full potential? Set 600 years into the future, where the Earth is on the brink of destruction, the nations of the world send some of their best and brightest into space as a last-ditch effort to colonize another planet. With an uncharacteristically utopian view on things, many nations have combined and cooperate with one another. For instance, Australia and Polynesia merge to become Australia. America, Canada, and Mexico become the American Reclamation Corporation, and the entire continent of Africa becomes the African Union, to name a few examples. These alliances take to the stars and begin anew on the wild frontier of alien planets. Utilizing the core of Civ 5, Beyond Earth is a turn-based strategy featuring hexagonal tiles on a grid without unit stacking. The terrain offers benefits in the same way its predecessor does. Mountains are impassable, hills provide extra defense, and rivers are difficult to cross. You start the game by picking a plot of land to build your first city, while each of the tiles offer different bonuses such as food, production, and energy. After founding your first city, you're able to explore the alien landscape, searching for resource pods and artifacts for your explorers to excavate. It's here that one of the game's first alterations comes to light: quests. Players will be given quests to complete and choices to make that help dictate the evolution of your civilization, as well as providing additional buffs and bonuses. Decisions you make during quests can allow your clinics to produce additional science or health for your civilization, for instance. Exploration leads to encounters with other civilizations as well as alien life forms. Diplomacy is alive and well among these new colonies, allowing you to trade with other civilizations, and you have access to all the diplomacy options seen in Civilization 5, as well as the inclusion of favors, which can be cashed in on later trades. The alien life forms are the game's equivalent to barbarians, albeit a lot stronger. They are, however, not as aggressive and will generally leave your units alone unless they happen to path towards a tile you're occupying. This changes throughout the game, though, based on the affinities you choose. Also, if you go out of your way to attack an alien or approach a nest, they will become hostile for a few turns. Certain bonuses and abilities make it worthwhile to actively exterminate these pests, but later in the game, that can become a diplomatic blunder with civilizations that are more sympathetic to alien life. The affinities are by far the most unique feature to Beyond Earth. They allow you to specialize your civilization with a specific ideology. Players who follow the Harmony path will synthesize with their new planet and the alien life that inhabits it. Supremacy takes a page from the Cyberpunk playbook with a focus on augmentation and improvement through technology. Ultimately, Supremacy players will have a civilization made of cyborgs. Finally, there's the Path of Purity, which focuses on retaining humanity and destroying anything that threatens that, such as the aliens, making them pretty much the space Nazis of the game. Not only do these affinities grant you special units and buildings, but they also change the way that other civilizations react with you. Think of it as being on par with religion or political doctrines from other Civilization games. For example, if you choose Harmony, you'll be friendly with other civilizations that picked Harmony, but at odds with those that pick Supremacy or Purity. The technology tree is also non-linear in this, allowing for you to choose any number of paths, which allows for a lot of variety between different civilizations. It did seem like there were very few specialized paths that were far superior to the others, though, as you generally want to amass whatever affinity you're going with quickly, as it will immediately upgrade your troops without the need to do things manually, like the past Civ games. Your research does allow you to produce new unit types, but the basic units that you have access to from the onset also evolve as your affinity level increases. Failing to increase your affinity will leave you woefully unprepared to fight more advanced factions. This is where the differences in Beyond Earth end, though, and everything else is simply reskinned from Civilization 5. Happiness has been replaced with health, gold has been replaced with energy, while food and production remain the same. There are also a lot of things that don't really make sense, such as having technology to colonize another planet without having any way to unveil the map. You'll uncover the mystery planet much the same way as your primitive warriors will back in 4000 BC like past Civ games. The tech tree also has some inconsistencies, such as having to research physics, chemistry, and computers, despite the game taking place in the year 2600. All the units function the same way as well, with the majority of units being melee along with a few ranged, naval, and air units. The fact that naval technology is used at all was a bit strange, with hovercrafts only being unlocked late game. One would think the majority of units would be flying at a time like this, while the few air units in the game function exactly the same way as jets from previous Civilization games. The world in general feels exactly like past Civ games, with no option to move on to other planets, and what's worse is that the game seems to have lost any charm or personality that was apparent in the other titles. Leaders like Genghis Khan, Gandhi, and Montezuma are all replaced with overly polite, boring politicians. In an effort to replace the clever quotes of history that were once narrated by Leonard Nimoy, they've come up with their own quotes and dialogue, which are hit or miss for the most part.
Anansi looked at the man's genome and said, "Messy, messy! Who can live like this?" He took a broom and swept up the genome, and when the man woke up, he felt much better.
None of the civilizations display any semblance of personality or is in any way memorable. They also seem to favor peace over war, and will very rarely declare war on you, which can make the game feel a bit dull. Having a few alien civilizations would have been a great way to add some personality to the proceedings. While the AI of the civilizations does seem a bit more robust should you go to war with them, this can be avoided for the most part. Espionage has been completely buffed and is now nearly game-breaking, as spies are now able to stage coups d'etats and take over other civilizations' capitals without any resistance. Should you take a capital, the AI civilization barely even seems to react and will still not declare war on you. Espionage isn't the only thing that's unbalanced either. The virtue tree is this game's equivalent to the social policies of Civ 5, and one of the virtue trees is by far superior to the rest. Specializing in prosperity will allow you to amass as many cities as you want as quickly as possible without falling behind on health, making it the best way to play generally, while the other virtue trees are only worth speccing into as secondary options. If you're expecting this installment to not have bugs, you would be sadly mistaken, as the multiplayer is still barely playable. You'll constantly be faced with disconnects and crashes where you'll have to rehost the game. You could of course continue the game and have your friends rejoin you, but that will be at the cost of the AI temporarily taking over their civilization and rerouting all production, scientific research, and virtues, making it not even feel like your civilization anymore. Even when playing single player, I faced the odd random crash to my desktop, which had me frequently reloading autosaves. The game also feels a lot more tedious when compared to past Civilization games. The world is covered in an alien gas known as miasma, which will damage your units every time you land on a corresponding tile. This can be beneficial if you choose the Harmony affinity, but otherwise will just slow down the pace of the game even more. Trade convoys are also essential and can make or break your economy. This wouldn't be a big deal if you could just leave them automated, but you'll be constantly prompt to refresh their routes every few turns. If this wasn't enough, orbital units have also been included which hover in the atmosphere over your cities or units for a set amount of turns, which then must be rebuilt and replaced. The soundtrack is well done and fits the space theme, feeling a little reminiscent to games like XCOM Enemy Unknown or Deus Ex Human Revolution, despite being composed by different composers. It is, however, not as expansive as the library of licensed classical tracks featured in past titles, though. Ultimately, Civilization Beyond Earth feels like a mod or scenario for Civilization 5. It doesn't stray away or do anything innovative enough to warrant being a standalone title. While the non-linear tech tree, quests, and affinity system are welcomed, they allow for some unbalanced combinations. Beyond Earth is also missing many features from past Civ games, such as corporations, religion, and great people. Having more meaningful interactions with aliens would have been welcomed as well, but the game feels like it was inspired by Sid Meier watching the movie Starship Troopers. The game is lacking in all personality and charm, as even when you complete a game, you're not even given a score screen or graph, you're simply just sent back to the main menu. Ultimately, Beyond Earth isn't a bad game, it just fails to meet the standards set by past Civilization titles, and can feel a lot more tedious in the process. We suspect that like its predecessor, Beyond Earth will improve immensely with the addition of expansions, But as of now, any cravings you have for space exploration might be better satiated by taking a trip to the theater instead to see Interstellar.